moving on to another breaking update as the NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar in his affidavit in the Bhima Koregaon Commission has now called for repealing the Sedition Law. Incidentally, his own government has invoked the Sedition Law on the Rana couple there, for which the hearing will be taking place. But Sharad Pawar has said that the law that was introduced by the British in 1870 to suppress the Indian freedom struggle and control the uprisings there, it is now being misused. He's being added that the Indian Penal Code provisions and the UAPA was sufficient to protect the nation's integrity.
Absolutely. So, Amit, the uproar over the sedition on the Ranas, that the case is still going on and they are inside jail at this point. Pawar has now called for repealment of the sedition as well. Let me go across to Arunil joining us on this broadcast. So, Arunil, Sharad Pawar in his affidavit clearly stating to the Bhima Koregaon Commission and has also called for the repealment of the sedition law. So, why two different perspectives for two different cases as far as sedition is concerned?
Well, clearly ironic. Double standards also to a major extent by the Mahavikas Aghadi government, which is ruling the state of Maharashtra, because the same stringent sedition charge is being invoked against the Rana couple. The matter will be heard today in the court. The Rana couple were questioning that why sedition law, a sedition charge has been applied against us, pushed against us. In fact, we were following the notice from the Mumbai police as well, called it unconstitutional. And Sharad Pawar, the main architect of this Mahavikas Aghadi government, he was summoned by the Bhima Koregaon Commission as a witness. And there, in an affidavit, he saying that the sedition law needs to be repealed. So clearly it reeks double standards to a major extent, because the senior most leader of the Maharashtra government, Mahavikas Aghadi, three parties, him saying that sedition law needs to be repealed, whereas the Mahavikas Aghadi government pressing the same sedition law against the Rana couple, and the matter will be heard today. Now, whether the court will take notice of what Sharad Pawar ji had told the Bhima Koregaon Commission, that we will be keeping a close eye on.
Right, but Arunil, because it seemed that the MVA leaders also had a hard time explaining exactly why the sedition charge was leveled in the first place. No answers, or rather no clear answers that could be given by them, especially in the court when we are looking at the matter, will be taken up today.
Well, that is right. A very good right point being mentioned by you, because Times Now has asked many of these leaders from the Mahavikas Aghadi, mainly from the Shiv Sena, that why the stringent sedition law was invoked against the Rana couple. Rana couple have
in fact,
vehemently
Arunil, stay with us. We are also joined by Shehzad Poonawala of the BJP on the phone line. Shehzad, how would you respond to this possible double standard by the MVA government in the state of Maharashtra? On one hand, we have a sedition case against the Ranas who are still in jail. On the other hand, Sharad Pawar now filing this affidavit to the Bhima Koregaon Commission stating and reappealment and calling for a reappealment of the sedition law.
Well, this is what we call Hati ke daat khane ke alag, dikhane ke alag. It's not just the NCP and Sharad Pawar who wanted to do away with the sedition law, in this case for the Bhima Koregaon accused, but it was also the Congress Party in its 2019 manifesto that had said that it wanted to do away with sedition. So on the one hand, they have been saying that sedition should not be applied and used, but on the other hand, when it comes to somebody wanting to chant the Hanuman Chalisa, and hasn't even gone out and actually done it in front of the Chief Minister's house, there in that case they have applied sedition. It is a complete abuse of the law. But the most important question is that why is it being applied here when they didn't want it applied in cases of terrorism, when they didn't want it applied in cases of extremism? So this shows the double standards of the Mahavikas Aghadi government. And Mr. Uddhav Thackeray should answer whether Sharad Pawar's view on sedition is something that he goes by. Is the view of the Congress Party relevant, or is the Congress view of the NCP relevant, or will only for political vendetta they apply sedition on somebody who wanted to chant the Hanuman Chalisa?
Right. Shehzad, thanks very much for joining in, because what is being said by the NCP Supremo adding that when it comes to the IPC provisions or even the UAPA, they were sufficient to protect the nation's integrity. Arunil, thank you very much. We head into a short break.